Okay, guys, we're back and we're in the Advent Palace now, just about to fight the frogs. I think I'll take this time, since it's a slow part of the game, to just lay out some groundwork. Number one, I am not making these videos or doing any of these things to show off or show any special strategies involved in this. I'm doing this simply because, I wish I had help during this, and I had to figure out some simple tricks on my own. There are people who come up with a lot more speedy tricks. This is just simply a guide to give you the groundwork, the bare essentials to beat the boss extreme with time to spare. And like I said, the time is not the issue. It's parts like the frog part that are the real roadblocks for any somewhat amateur MGS4 player. I'm not an amateur, but I describe myself as intermediate in skill, and in order to get a firm grasp on this run, you need to be high intermediate tier and slight expert at the game. Anyways, what I'm doing here is, people may or may not realize that there is 20 tranquilizer rounds for the Mark II tranquilizer gun. And I find it really weird because they named the Mark II the gun, and then there's the Metal Gear Mark II. So I'm just going to call this thing Midget Gear from now on. So yeah, we used Midget Gear to get the Mark II bullets, well, tranq rounds. And this part here is where I would recommend you guys switch to metal camo, because it is about to get hectic as hell. And put a few things on. Number one, maybe the Muna if you like to go that way. I myself would probably recommend bringing the iPod out, which I'm going to probably do in the middle of this, but obviously you don't want any lethal stuff. You want things like the solar gun, the Mark II if you run out of solar power, but you really shouldn't. SG mines, and you're going to see where I use that in a little bit. Some people use flashbangs for some parts of this, but I have some trouble getting it to work at times, so. Skip the cutscenes with Meryl. I'm sorry, I wish I couldn't. Well, to be honest, I'm not sorry that I'm skipping cutscenes. That would make this exhibition a little bit too long. But, obviously to get the big boss emblem, you gotta skip all the stuff. Most of it, anyway. First and foremost, get behind some cover, because they will nail you with quite a few rounds. Come out for half a second and they'll still get you. And there's two ways that you can do this. You can do this with the solar gun, or you can do it with CQC. And the foolproof way to nail these with the CQC slam, to nail the frog troops, because they have the habit of countering you. To get the frog troops with CQC, you're going to want to punch them first, because that'll cause a temporary stun. So punch, then slam. And fill up your solar gun. And if you start taking stamina damage, just bring the Muna out, but you really shouldn't unless they start using their flashbangs. And things like this, I see people use the flashbangs. It works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes for me. I know it's probably got to do with my positioning where I'm throwing them, but one thing I may recommend that you do is equip the solid eye and put it to night vision so you don't get distracted by steam or anything like that, or smoke from explosions. And they're about to enter the pub area. And at about this point is where, if you're at about where I'm at in health, you're gonna want to park behind here. Sunlight! Use your solar gun, because there is a little bit of sunlight peeking through. Bring out the midget gear, and you want to basically sit around and let it do your work for you. And they will see it after you stun a couple of people. Like I said, this is not the speedy way to do things, it's just one way for some amateurs to get through this, because this part gave me a hell of a lot of trouble. And after you hear Meryl say that, then you can start finding enemies in here. And as you can see, one spotted it and started shooting at it. Nice. If nothing else, this thing does serve to distract a couple of frogs. You aren't going to be able to win a quick draw duel between the cable and the trigger finger of a frog soldier. And you are going to probably want to take the long way around soldiers because you can't really go through their bodies. And it's about this point where I would recommend getting Snake out and start doing CQC. Because I'm at full health now, as you can see, but I didn't take that as enough of a hint to get out there and start fighting, so. And you can see I'm sitting here wondering where the hell the frogs are, so. I think pretty soon I decided. Damn it. And you know, a lot of times you can manage to cable both at the same time, but here it just seemed to want to target the one that was on the ground. That doesn't make much sense to me, but finally it worked. If you're doing this strategy, don't worry too much about the health of the Rat Patrol team, because they won't be in a whole lot of danger of dying. I find that you die a hell of a lot more often than they do. How this one saw me, I'm not sure.
You can't keep abusing the Mark II like that.
And if I'm not mistaken, this thing does have a health meter.
Whoa! Snake, what are you trying to do to the Mark II?
I really couldn't learn. I just kept getting shot at, and I decided,
the Mark II can't take much more abuse.
you know what, screw it, I'm gonna have Snake do it. And the metal camo, because I haven't said it yet, the metal camo serves to have the amount of HP and stamina loss, so you can survive in a firefight with frogs a lot more. It's still recommended that you use everything at your disposal though, so. And there's still. And if you do get caught in their stranglehold, like you see here, I would recommend that you just sit there mashing this control stick from side to side and then constantly pressing the triangle button. A lot of times you can actually execute a counter that way, but. And that takes care of all the frogs for this part of the escape, but we sure as hell aren't over yet. That was way too long a process. I lost a lot of time, but like I said, I beat the game and got the emblem with over an hour to spare, so. Like I said, really forgiving. If you want to use a safe strategy like using the midget gear, go right ahead. If you want to be a little bit more flashy and showboaty and use CQC on all of them, or flashbangs or whatnot, do that. Do whatever applies to you, but if you're new to this, I would highly suggest you be better safe than sorry.